What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning in to another video. Shout out Notifications Squad, and I hope you're having a great day. Definitely make sure to smash that like button. In today's video, I really want to show you a really cool analog technique on how to really, record vocals using compression. You can emulate this in the box. I'll be showing you how to do it in the box as well. But most importantly, I'm going to be showing you two compressors that I have and how you can actually utilize them to really get a nice cushy vocal sound before doing the bulk of your mixing in the box. I will be showing you how to use two free plugins as well, so for those who don't have any gear, you can still achieve pretty much the same result. I've been playing around with analog gear all weekend and the results are very minimal. But yeah man, definitely check out the links in the description for my vocal recording course, vocal mixing course, as well as vocal enhancer for FL Studio if you are into getting better results when it comes to vocal mixing. Stick around for that, man. Let's hop on the computer, or let's hop onto the gear. Not used to saying that. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's get straight into it. So as you can see, I have two compressors here. We would have the LA2A style compressor, which we'll run through now, and then we will also cover the 1176 style compressor, which is also pretty cool. So right now I obviously have my voice running through the LA4, and this is pretty much very similar to the LA2A. It is based on the LA2A, but it is just using cheaper components. It is also solid state, meaning it does not have any tubes in it. So it does give you a much cleaner sound. The differences in regards to this compressor are that, the peak reduction is essentially called threshold, and then the output level is obviously the gain. On the LA2A, I'm pretty sure they switched around, but the same theory applies, and I'll show you how to really think about how you're going to utilize this when you're actually recording your vocals. So first things first, obviously another difference is on this one we actually have a threshold, which is pretty cool. So it actually gives us a few more options in regards to how we can compress. I like to use it in the 4:1. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. I love to use the 4:1, but you can also use the 2:1 for much more buttery, and as you can see, it reacts more like an LA2A. Really cool. But the way that I like to use it while tracking is very similar to how I am speaking into the microphone right now. Is I like to drive my preamp. I'm using a Neve 1073, and then I'll pretty much drive that up to the point where I'm happy with the level, and then I'll pretty much inject this into the chain, and then I'll set a threshold that I like to where I'm not doing more than 3 dB of compression. As you can see, when I compress on loud parts, I'm not really going past 3 dB, simply because this compressor starts to sound a bit darker when you do get a bit too crazy on the compression. But if I'm rapping, even 7 dB sounds really nice sometimes. I mean, I've been using this compressor for a really long time. So, obviously on the computer side, I'll show you where to inject this into the chain. But as you can see, 3 dB of compression at max, and then I'm going to be using the output level to really set my level that I'm going to allow the DAW to hear, right? So what is the level that I'm sending to my DAW is pretty much dependent on this output level knob, right? I'll generally actually turn it down because I really like to hit the Neve hard. Then I'm probably around -6 dB, but then with this thing I can really turn the level down and then actually lower the noise. So you can really use this thing as a box to get a bit of glue, but also to really tame your level before hitting the computer. So hopefully that makes sense to you. As you can see, this is how much compression you generally want to be doing, maybe a little bit more if you are singing or rapping aggressively. So if we head over to the 1176 right here, hopefully you can see what is going on. We'll actually use this one. Obviously, an 1176 doesn't look quite like this. This is a UK Sound 276. This is pretty much two 1176 style compressors, which actually sound pretty cool. I do not have this set up on my chain, but as I'll show you later on in the video, the way I like to set it up is once I've got my vocal ready in the box, I'll add a compressor. I'm generally using the UAD 1176 because I think it sounds amazing, but there are some cool free alternatives, Analog Obsession, Fetish, or you could also use the modern amplifier, which is going to give you a very similar result. They all have 1176s. You could even buy yourself a Clark Technique 1176, KT76 I think it's called. Sounds pretty cool, but essentially what's going to happen is you are always going to have these same knobs on the compressor. Otherwise it's not really a 1176 style compressor, but you need an input, right? And we'll talk about the input just now. We need a ratio control, we need attack and release, and then we need an output knob. And that's really everything that you need to have an 1176 style compressor. And the way that you set it up, excuse me, is obviously, the real one doesn't have a compress or bypass. Or actually it does. it has off switch, I guess. But most importantly, you're going to be, as you can see, my knob is all the way to the left, meaning it's off. It doesn't have any signal going on in it. But the way I like to set it up is I'll leave it in this position, and then with the level that I have on my vocal, I'll inject it, slowly driving the input up until the point where I'm compressing about 5 to 7 at max. Now obviously this VU meter is a bit useless on the video, but I would then again do another 5 to 7 dB of compression at max, right? Doesn't mean that I'm going to be compressing that much, but you'll see in the video how the compressor is reacting to my vocal. Obviously that vocal that is in the video has been recorded through this, so it'll be a nice way to see what's going on. And I've generally been gravitating towards the 8:1 ratio. For some reason it just sounds really good. From what I understand about 1176s is the compression, the way that it compresses changes as you go to different ratios. It kind of reacts differently, just as this one does react differently, as you saw earlier. So it's really up to you on how you are going to compress. Some people like to use it 12:1, some 8:1, some 4:1. It's really up to you. 4 is generally going to be the cleanest and the most kind of responsive, but 8:1 gives you a really nice kind of in the middle of it all type of sound. When it comes to attack and release, I like to generally set the, I don't know what it's called, the 10 2 o'clock method, really, which just means that the attack is set around here and then the release is set around there, and that's generally a good starting point. But if you do want more distortion, you can actually turn up the release, and these 1176s do actually clip quite a lot when you increase the release, especially when you're compressing a lot. So definitely consider that. And then obviously you can just use the output knob to then control how much level you actually want to go to your vocal chain. So for those who are going to be using my templates, main vocal then goes to vocal chain. This is going to be controlling how much of that goes to the vocal chain. So hopefully you learned something in this. This doesn't mean anything. This was just part of the mod, I guess, that I got with this compressor. It was used in an old radio studio. But let's hop over to the computer, and then I'll show you how we can apply some digital plugins as well as some alternatives if you are looking to go the free route. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, let's hop on the computer. So as you can see right now, I have a whole bunch of compressors set up, but I'll basically play the track that I have. This is a kind of pop punk style song. This is from the pop punk vocal effect. For those who use FL Studio, you can get a copy of this. I'll play the track, follow the ballistics of the VU meter, see how much compression I'm actually doing, and consider the fact that these vocals have been pushed through the LA4 compressor. So obviously I will probably while playing this, I will try and replicate the settings on these two compressors without them being in the chain, just so you can actually see what's going on. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I've been up all week, I just can't sleep. You've been suffocating me, I can't breathe. Stuck in place and I just can't leave. Words in my head, but I just can't speak. In my head, I think I'm drowning, what the fuck? In my head, I'm way too gone, you can't save me. Yeah, all this time we've been wasting, sipping champagne, I've been wasted. Fell asleep in the stars, ooh, now I'm jaded. Looking at my watch and I'm running out of time. Like, I can't keep on living like this. Oh, she can't keep on living like this. We can't keep on living like this. Shooting at your heart and I just might miss.
Alrighty, there you go. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing having 3 compressors up. I'll just play, for example, this one just so you can really see what's going on. It kind of does this thing where it compresses late, but it's really beautiful. Obviously the vocal sounds very much tamed, so
You've been suffocating me, I can't breathe.
I mean, as you can see,
I'm way too gone, you can't save me. Yeah, all this time we've been wasting.
so there you can see it really kind of grabs the vocal before we actually do any sort of mega processing, right? So I always add the compressor to the main vocal chain, so if I am recording within the box and I don't have a compressor, I can actually send it to this chain, and then I could enable this compressor and I could literally monitor with the compression on. That's literally what I do. I have this compressor on, and then I usually record with this on as well, so I can really hear what my compression is doing. Then I'll usually do a little bit of EQ whilst recording, generally not much, but that's pretty much how I record, and that's how I get my really nice vocal sound going. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously you could use an LA2A compressor, you could use the UAD at a 3A. There are a whole lot of options. There are some other free ones as well. This is the Analog Obsession Lala, so I'll leave links to this as well, to all the free ones. You can obviously go and Google the T-Rex Y2A. But yeah, man, definitely try it out. Definitely even try parallel compressing, all sorts of other cool techniques. But for the most part, just to summarize it, I'm always going to use a leveling amplifier style compressor with a compression or peak reduction meter, as well as a output gain, really. And I'm generally going to be aiming for about 3 dB, 7 dB at max of compression. So if you just want to pay attention to that again.
I'm way too gone, you can't save me. Yeah, all this time we've been wasting, sipping champagne, I've been wasted. Fell asleep in the stars, ooh, now I'm jaded.
You know what I mean? It just kind of rides the vocal, and that's a really beautiful thing. You know, it alleviates the need to have to manually go in and actually, you know, do all the vocal writing yourself. That's why plugins like Vocal Write exist. You could pretty much not use that if you just had a compressor, right? Or you could just use this as well. But as you can see, these vocals are very much tamed. Obviously, this recording is post you know, recording, so you can see there aren't really that many peaks, right? That kind of means that I've done my job, where the vocal still sounds very much consistent and lively, and kind of it pumps a little bit, but it's not kind of squashed. That's really what you want to be aiming for with this compressor. So try it out. You know, use the Wave CLA2A as well. Is obviously another LA2A style compressor. Use the CLA76. I completely forgot about that. I don't own it, but you know, it's pretty much exactly the same as this. So yeah, man. Definitely check out this as well. This is the Fetish 1176. As you can see, it has an input, it has an output, it has an attack and release, and that has all been set up for you. Try the 8 ratio. As you can see, I'm using the 8 ratio right there, and you should be good to go. So yeah, man, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Definitely stay tuned, subscribe, check the links in the description for this FLP, as well as to my courses relating to FL Studio vocal recording and mixing. I'll check out next time. Stay well. Peace out.